Welcome to this session on Field Tracker. I'm John Allison from Logical Tech Digital, and I've got with me Carl Bennett, who is our team leader for mobile applications for Field Force. So Carl, in this session we're talking about making sure that the job is organised well and simple for field staff. So what needs to get prepared, what needs to get done is what gets done, and to make life a little simpler instead of lots of lists, lots of spreadsheets, lots of checklists and so on. So how does Field Tracker achieve that for field staff?
John, there's I guess several dimensions here. Is that we need to make sure that we're taking into account people that are using the app on a frequent basis and those that are perhaps new to the application that might need some additional aids for what they need to do and how they need to get to where they're going. Mm-hmm. So the app itself has got answers for both of those. It's got the ability to push into it workflow activities, things that you must do when you get to sites, plus, as we mentioned in previous sessions, additional ad hoc things that you may choose to do based on visiting the site and discovering some situation.
Can they vary between sites, those workflows? They can be quite different from one site to the next?
Absolutely. You can make sure that your workflow is targeted to the site, so it's specific, so that at this site I need to do these things, at another site it could be completely different. Okay. And they may be based on various cyclic activities or whatever plans you have in the back end. My point, John, about different users using the application I think is relevant. For those that are continually going through the same sites that they know well, they don't perhaps need all that much in the way of navigation aids because they've been doing it for a long time. But equally, are those people that are perhaps new to it or taking on a particular route that somebody else hasn't been on for a while, or been on sick leave or something like that. There are built-in tools into the app that will actually help you to find these sites. You've got your standard Google Maps type interfaces. You've got your what we call the compass, which if you're going to a particular site and it's perhaps hidden or not as easy to find, you've got to cross some dirt tracks or paddocks or something like that. We've got something called the compass, which is not just a point north, but basically it knows the location of the site, it knows your location, and it's basically giving you an arrow saying, walk this arrow,
point to that,
and go 70 metres and you'll get to the particular site.
Great.
That's a useful aid. We also have something that we call the radar, which basically puts you at the centre and it tells you about all the sites you intend to visit that are around you. So once again, you have knowledge of what's around you and what you've got to visit. Some of these work off comms, like the Google Maps, you need comms. Others, like the radar and the compass, don't. And they're particularly good, John, where you're in situations where you don't have comms, but you still want these navigation aids.
Right.
So my point here, John, is that these things don't get in your way. They're things that you can call up as and when you want them. So if you know what you're doing and you don't need these aids, you don't want them in the way, they're not there. You call them up when you want to use them.
So if the grass grows over a metre that I've got to take some measurements off, so the GPS and navigation aids can get me to that even though I can't see it.
That's right. It can get you to the point where within the accuracy of the GPS to say you're standing within the circle, just start smoothing that grass out, John, and it should be there.
Great. It's quite an important tool where these assets are not visited regularly. Yeah. What about photos and using the other tools that we've come to expect in our smartphones and iPads and tablets and so on? Do they come with the Field Tracker apps, and how do field staff make use of those?
Look, that's a particularly important thing in my view, is the visual asset. Is that you've got these assets out here, but there's nothing that describes something better than a picture.
Yeah.
So that the application we've built definitely handles that. You're able to take pictures of whatever it is that's the site you're visiting or the circumstances, enter some commentary about it, so that's all captured and held on the phone in offline mode, so it'll send it when it's available or hold it on the phone. But equally importantly, John, is that you're able to take these files that you've captured, crunch them down to a size that you're happy with, so that it's big enough at the back end that the picture is representative of what you want to see, but not so large that you're sending a 20 megapixel thing via the phone and costing you a fortune. You don't want that either. But there's a happy medium there. But also you've named the file so that it's got an appropriate name that is meaningful at the other end, and you've linked commentary to it as well. So that way you can have a historical view of what's happening at sites. They could be issues, concerns, they could be anything you want them to be, but that way you can manage them via your phone. And it's very easy these days to grab one of these phones and just point and shoot, and you can get a pretty good picture of these devices and have that recorded. You'll see it on here. And indeed, John, I guess the reverse is true. You could be going to the site and you want to see what was the condition of this site before. So you can pull up a picture and say, what did it look like last week, last month, last year?
So you can see history as well.
You can see history.
Maybe past measurements and
absolutely.
So on.
As can the people back at the office. They can see what you see as well.
And would there be the chance for them to, people back at the office to say, look, take another picture, that one can, I want you to take it from the other side, I can see some damage there, etc.?
Yes, they can. Certainly, but once again, it does assume you have communications available. If you don't, of course, the picture's not going to get there straight away. It'll get there when you do have comms. But if there's a concern that you have a phone, so you can actually talk to people as well, that you take a picture of something and say, look, this has happened, and you want to get some advice. Have a look at the picture I've just taken. What do you want me to do next? That's a very good example.
Yeah, you can see how the efficiency, instead of having to go back and write up reports and get the reports acted on, that could transform the lower the costs and transform the efficiency of enterprises, particularly with a lot of field staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Carl. It's obviously these issues that we're covering are very practical issues. They relate to how the field staff actually use systems that support them, instead of, perhaps different types of devices where you haven't got GPS or you haven't got photos and you've got to lug things along or take clipboards, etc. This can be quite a streamlining and revolutionising way of getting the work done in far less time. So thank you. Thanks, Carl.